世界のみんなとつながろう Bridges across world communities.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bridges Across World Communities, sponsored by NIA, the Nishinomiya City International Association. My name is Floyd.
And my name is Thelma. Each month we provide useful knowledge for daily living and important information about disaster prevention.
This program is for English-speaking residents in the Nishinomiya area and is broadcast on the second and fourth Saturday of each month from 12 noon to 12:15.
This month we'll talk about revisions to the minimum wage in Japan and the latest information on COVID-19 vaccinations.
And we have the second half of our interview with Ms. Perera Dulanjalee from Sri Lanka, who now lives in Nishinomiya.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会です。
Hello, Thelma. How are you this fine summer day?
Well, I have a question for you.
What? No intro and friendly chit-chat? It must be really important. What is it?
Yeah, do you know what 900 yen per hour refers to?
Probably something to do with parking fees around Umeda.
No,
Oh.
It's the current minimum wage in Hyogo Prefecture, where Nishinomiya is located.
Okay.
And I'm sure many of our listeners are currently working or looking for a job.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk about the minimum wage system in Japan.
Okay, so what is the minimum wage system?
It's the minimum hourly wage paid to employees as set by the government's minimum wage law. Well, employers are required by law to pay workers at least this minimum amount.
Yeah, and what if they don't?
Well, there are penalties for employers who do not comply.
Okay, so what's the purpose of the minimum wage law?
Well, it is to prevent employers for lowering wages unfairly, or if their business does poorly or economy goes down. If employers could lower wages unexpectedly and to their own advantage, then workers couldn't rely on the stable basic income.
Yeah, that would be pretty stressful. Now, this minimum wage law, does it only apply to full-time employees?
No, it applies to all workers, full-time, part-time, and even foreign workers.
Okay, now I assume this minimum wage is the same throughout Japan.
No, it's different across the country and set by each of the 47 prefectural governments.
Wow, that sounds kind of complicated. Now, where's the best minimum wage in Japan?
Oh, as of today, the highest minimum wage in Japan is in Tokyo, 1,013 yen per hour. And the lowest minimum wage shared by several prefectures is 792 yen per hour. Well, in Hyogo Prefecture, where we live, the minimum wage is currently 900 yen per hour.
Wow. Now, is this permanent or do they change it sometimes?
Usually, it's revised every year, and the new minimum wage goes to effect in October, and at this year Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare meeting held in July, it was decided to raise the minimum wage by 28 per hour. 28 yen, yes. And this should bring the nationwide average to 930 yen per hour.
So is 28 yen per hour considered a big increase?
Yes, and it's the largest since 2002.
Oh.
And when they first started determining the minimum wage on an hourly basis.
I see. So it seems like this would really help a lot of workers who were affected by the pandemic.
Well, that's the idea. Last year, when the coronavirus was first spreading, workers were only given a 1 yen per hour increase.
That's really low. I mean, what happened?
Well, due to the virus situation, many small and medium-sized companies were really suffering and opposed a big wage increase.
Right.
And it's likely workers didn't demand much of an increase either, like fearing they might lose their jobs.
Okay, so they're hoping to make up for last year by having a good-sized increase this year then.
Exactly, but each prefecture will decide their new minimum wage based on the government's meeting held in July.
Yeah, but still, probably it'll be 28 yen per hour increase.
That's right. And from October, the minimum wage in Tokyo will raise to 1,041 yen per hour, while the lowest minimum wage in the country will be raised to 800 yen per hour.
Yeah.
Well, in Hyogo Prefecture, the minimum wage will be raised to 928 yen per hour.
Okay. Now, so for anyone in Hyogo Prefecture working at a minimum wage job, you should confirm that you're making at least 900 yen per hour now and at least 928 yen per hour after October.
Yes, and if your part-time salary is daily wage divided by the number of hours worked in a day to calculate your hourly wage.
Yeah, and if you think something isn't right with your wage or paid vacations or other employment issues, contact the Nishinomiya Labor Standards Inspection Office for help.
Now, if you can't communicate well in Japanese and would like consultation services in English or another language, contact the Nishinomiya City International Association and they can make an arrangement to help you get the information you need.
And we're happy to welcome our guest back this month, Dulanjalee Perera from Sri Lanka.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Welcome back.
Ah,
Kohomada.
Oh, good. I'm fine, thank you.
So now last month we finished off, we were talking a little bit about Thursha was in kindergarten and you're still learning Japanese and how it was maybe a little difficult for you to communicate with the teachers and other parents. I'm kind of curious, how is Thursha finding it with the other children? Is she able to communicate at all, or is it, doesn't have to worry about that even?
Yeah, in the kindergarten, she has a supporter given by the Nishinomiya Board of Education.
Okay.
She can speak English and Japanese, the translator. So she stays in the kindergarten with my daughter from morning till end. So she helps my daughter to communicate with the teachers, with the friends. Yes, she helps, the supporter helps for every work she does in the kindergarten.
Wow. So the supporter speaks English to Trisha.
Yes.
Trisha speaks English too.
Yeah, she can understand because before come to Japan, when she was in Sri Lanka, we sent her to an international kindergarten, so she can manage English a little bit.
Okay. So how did she find like staying? Did she enjoy? I mean, she wanted to go home or what right away?
Now she is adjusting to the Japanese culture here, the society. Now she has lots of friends in the kindergarten.
Wow, that's great.
Yes.
That's great. So, like, say, how about her Japanese now? Maybe she's really quite developing. Like, which is
Yeah.
more comprehensive, like the mother or Trisha?
Yes.
How's your Japanese compared to her?
She's grabbing the language so fast.
Oh, that's
she
right.
can now speak some little sentences. She can make some requests in Japanese language. Now she can understand some words. She knows some words for some Japanese words that are used for the animals also. It's great. Now she's learning so fast than me and my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of your husband, before he came to Japan, did he learn Japanese first before applying for the job?
Yes, when he was in Sri Lanka, before he get this job opportunity in Japan, to work in Japan, he had to learn Japanese. He studied for about 6 months.
Wow, only
Yes.
6 months.
Yeah.
So he can read and write.
Yes, now he can.
That's
Yes,
fast.
That's fast.
I've been here 10 years. I still can't even speak
I
Japanese.
couldn't even really. It took me 2 years to adjust to this
Because
language.
all his interview process was done by the Japanese language, so he did fast learning.
Oh, that's great.
So you said your husband lived in Tokyo when he first came to Japan.
Yes.
Did you ever spend time in Tokyo at all?
No, we directly came to Nishinomiya.
Directly?
Yes.
So have you traveled around other parts of Japan at all?
We have been to Kobe, some visiting places, you mean?
I'm sorry?
Some visiting places,
Yes.
interesting places.
Yes.
Oh, yes, Kobe. We went to Kobe, then Osaka Castle, Universal Studio in Japan,
Universal Studios?
Yes.
Oh, how did she like that?
Oh, she enjoyed really well. She wanted to stay the whole day there. Yes, she had a much fun.
So you have no trouble about the food and anything like in Japan. So everything. Trisha is also adjusting for the food thing.
Yes.
Or what are you cooking? I'm making it at home. Japanese
At
food or
home,
Sri Lankan food?
Most probably the Sri Lankan ones because still we are getting used. So some days I try the Japanese curry, but we use Japanese rice at home.
Oh,
Yes.
it's it's quite like I really recognize what's the difference between Indian food and then Sri Lankan food and then Nepal food. Is there any big difference about it? I couldn't really recognize.
In Sri Lankan food, when we have the Sri Lankan dish, we have a separate way of cooking. Some special way. Some curries we have special method of cooking. We use some spices. Yes.
So it's really different curry compared with Nepal curry and Indian curry. You mean to say?
Yes, I
really?
think so. Yeah.
Interesting, Floyd. We should try Sri Lankan curry.
I don't know. Have you ever had it?
No, I've never tried it. I'm so curious.
Sounds like you're recommending it, but you haven't tried either.
No,
I
I've
would
never
like to
tried.
try it.
I would love to try.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I think you have to open a Sri Lankan restaurant. Now, you mentioned earlier, I was asking about if you've traveled around Japan, and you mentioned you've been to Kobe and Osaka. You know, those are only 15 minutes away. I think you need to talk to your husband and talk him into going to some other parts of Japan.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, for the summer vacation, we have planned to have a visit in Tokyo. Yes.
Now, so it looks like Trisha's getting a little. Trisha, did you want to say something to maybe your dad on the radio? Or
Your grandpa, your grandma, say hi before we go. Kahomada. Kohomada to your grandma.
You want to say something?
Say hello.
Say hello.
I think maybe Trisha's going to sing us a song.
You want to sing a song in Japanese?
Okay, I think we're going to have to skip that.
Yes.
So Trisha, it's very nice to have you here on the show, Trisha, in the studio. And Dulanjalee, thank you so much for joining us today. And good luck. I know you've only been here 6 months, so you've got a long way to go yet, and I know you still have a lot of settling, and so good luck to you and your family.
Thank you so much.
And enjoy your stay in Japan.
Thank you for inviting me. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye. See you.
Bosai Joho desu.
In July, heavy rains triggered a disastrous landslide in Atami City, Shizuoka Prefecture.
A massive river of soil and rock roared through the city, damaging over 130 buildings before flowing into the sea.
44 buildings were completely swept away, and at least 22 people were killed, and with 5 still unaccounted for.
Now, usually there are warning signs before a landslide occurs. Things like the river water can become muddy or mixed with tree branches and bushes, or the river level will drop even though it's still raining.
There might be the smell of rotten soil in the air, or you start to hear the sound of rocks tumbling, trees breaking, or slopes collapsing.
Now, if you notice any of these warning signs, immediately inform the people around you and evacuate to a safe place as soon as possible.
Each year, about 1,000 landslides occur throughout Japan. This can happen anywhere and at any time.
Now, that's why Nishinomiya City distributes a packet of disaster prevention maps to all households.
This highly detailed set of full-colored maps is updated each year and included a tsunami hazard map, a flood and landslide hazard map, and a list of evacuation centers.
Even though the maps are in Japanese, it's not difficult to check your location and see if your home is located in a high-risk area.
Take a moment to study these maps and become familiar with the hazard risk near you, and be prepared to evacuate in the event of a disaster.
In Nishinomiya City, anyone with valid coupons can now make an appointment to be vaccinated, no matter what age group they're in.
There are 2 ways to get vaccinated: at a group vaccination site or individually at the clinic of your regular doctor.
If you have any questions about inoculation coupons or where and how to get vaccinated, please call the Nishinomiya City COVID-19 Vaccination Call Center at 0120-622-999. They're open every day from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
Please note that the vaccination is free of charge and is not mandatory. And if you have any questions or need help, don't hesitate to contact NIA at 0798-328680 or write an email to nia@nishi.or.jp.
提供は西宮市国際交流協会でした。
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.